All right, we're here in Omaha, Nebraska with Southeastern Athletic Director Jay Artigues, who was also an outstanding baseball coach with the Lions. Coach, good to see you.
Good to see you too, bud. Thanks for having me on.
Jay has been here the whole time we've been here in Omaha, so maybe just explain to people what your role is with the College World Series.
Yeah, this is my second year on the NCAA selection committee, and as a committee member, we come here and we're assigned different duties throughout the tournament, so it's a lot of fun. I say it's work, but this isn't work. It's a lot of fun.
It has been an amazing College World Series. I mean, you look at all the games, there's been so many close games. The park has been packed every night. The LSU Wake Forest game on Thursday, I've talked to people, and they feel like that's one of the best baseball games they've ever seen.
We said the same thing sitting over there in our seats, that might be the best baseball game I ever watched. And I've watched a lot of great games, but watching that pitching duel, what Skeens did that night was unbelievable. But just all the defensive plays. You know, we kept saying it's going to be one mistake wins the game, and it wasn't a mistake. I mean, it was just very well played on both sides.
Yeah. Jay Johnson said we slayed a giant, and I believe him. I mean, Wake Forest, the way they played defense, the sharp balls that were hit off the bat, that you thought, okay, that's going to be a base hit, and somebody would snag it on both sides, really.
Yeah, no doubt. Now, I mean, everybody talks about Tommy's home run, which was fantastic, but the job he did defensively, and then Trey at first base, probably the most athletic first baseman I've ever seen. That was an unbelievable play on that bunt. And Milazzo making that tag at the plate, I mean, it was fun to watch.
Yeah. You being a baseball guy and being around the game for so long, just your general thoughts of watching LSU so far, what do you see?
You know, I think Coach Johnson did a great job managing it, watching the game before, the way they handle the pitching staff, taking everybody out at the right time. I mean, they're just fun to watch. You know, they play defense, they pitch. I mean, obviously, you know what Cruz can do and those guys offensively, but it's fun to watch because they're very, very balanced.
He's kind of got a Kim Mulkey problem, which is a good problem to have. You have so much talent. It's like you can't play them all at the same time, and you have to manage it. And it seems like the players get on board with putting their egos in check a little bit for the better team good.
Yeah, I think a lot of coaches would like to have Kim's problems, you know. But you're right. You know, managing that staff managing the team, the roster the way he's done, winning solves a lot of that. You know, it's hard to complain when you're winning, but he's got great kids. You know, where I'm sitting, getting to watch the dugout and how they interact. You know, Beloso and some of those guys, Milazzo, just the leadership they provide in that dugout. It's been fun to watch.
Yeah. I had a chance to visit with Paul Maneri a while ago. You know, the Hall of Famer. He's here to root on the Tigers as well, and he's familiar with a lot of the players on this team. They recruited a lot of them and whatnot, and so it's been kind of it hadn't been a rebuild, it's been a reboot, and Jay has done a good job of coaching up the players that were left behind, and also the additions of Skeens and Tommy White and so forth.
Yeah, no question. And you know what's pretty cool is watch how many Louisiana kids on the field. You know, there's a lot of guys that I remember watching throughout high school play, and then you see them in Omaha. It's a dream come true for these kids, you know, to have that opportunity and to watch the smiles on their face. Sometimes we forget they are kids, you know, and they do a great job in an environment like this. But, you know, having a front row seat to that, it's a blessing for sure.
I was reminded that they are kids the other night when Griffin Herring got up there, and I don't think he's ever been in a press conference setting like that before and made the joke about the steroid shot and all that. Everyone just laughs, you know. He's just a young, goofy kid, you know. That's what they are to an extent.
Yeah, and, you know, one of the most impressive things of the night, that big win against Wake, we were walking out, everybody celebrating, and there was a lady carrying some ice chests, and Beloso ran over there and helped the lady carry them. That's the kind of character they have on that team, and, you know, it goes hand in hand. You win on and off the field, and they're proof of that.
This event, I know the good farmers in Nebraska and Iowa, I think they're going through a drought right now. They haven't got much rain, but it's been great for baseball. We haven't had any problem with the weather. I don't think we're going to have any problem with the weather, although it's going to be windy on Sunday, I see, like 22-mile-an-hour winds. But just the downtown area, the restaurants, the bars, this whole thing is going very smoothly.
Yeah, you know, that's one thing we were worried about is the weather today, and we were very fortunate. The baseball guide smiled on us, and you know, it's one of the first times we've had this, and we haven't had any weather issues at all, which is knock on wood. But like you said, the weather's going to turn around, the wind's going to turn around, and it's going to be blowing out the next 2 days, so that's going to be interesting how that changes things.
Now, Jay is like our good friend Roman Banks over at Southern, right? He could have kept going with the coaching thing, but you got into being an athletic director, just like Roman did. Roman coached at Southeastern as well. You have a new baseball coach. Tell me about that.
Yeah, Bobby Barbier. We hired Bobby last week, I believe it is. My time's running together. It's being over here.
We lose track of time. What day is it over here?
It's funny. I ask my wife that all the time. What day are we at? And she just rolls her eyes at me. But, you know, Bobby's a guy that's a great reputation. He's done a tremendous job at Northwestern with limited resources, not like we have at Southeastern. So I'm excited about having him and how he develops the young men, how he develops. Somebody said 6 guys drafted the last 6 years. And I think he's a guy that could really blow it up for us at Southeastern.
What are the challenges now, like Southern Miss, for example? A lot of people rooting for them. Is Scott Berry, for example, he just retires over at Southern Miss, and they make a super regional 2 years in a row. They can't quite burst through. What's the challenges for a mid-major like yourself and others to, in the new transfer portal and NIL and so forth?
Well, when you do get that opportunity, you got to make the most of it these days in the transfer portal. I mean, you look at Florida right here, the guy throwing for them the second game was at Southern Miss last year. So you have to capitalize while you have the guys like that. The good job Scott Berry does is unbelievable. Back-to-back super regionals, hosting back-to-back super regionals, speaks volumes of the job that they did at Southern Miss.
And somebody joked with me that the great thing about LSU making this run, deep run, is that they've cut down the waiting time for football season too. So there's not going to be much time for football. And at Southeastern, you guys, in my opinion, kind of thought outside the box a little bit. Frank Selfo had been in football a long, long time, obviously a great coach, but he'd always been an assistant. And for you to tab him as a head coach at this stage of the game, he's really worked out well for you.
Yeah, no doubt about it. We've been nationally ranked the last 4 years. There's only 3 teams in the country that can say that at our level, and Frank's done a great job on and off the field. He's done a great job developing the young men, but winning every single year is important. We won the conference championship last year. We've really been winning in everything. We won a lot of conference championships last year, I think 4. The only sport we haven't been winning is baseball. We've only had 1 winning season the last 4 years, but that's about to change. I'm probably not a good loser, so I want to make sure we're successful in everything. But we got some great coaches. Basketball made the NCAA tournament, won. Golf won a championship. Football won a championship. Women's basketball. So it's a lot of fun right now in Southeastern.
All right, Hammond, America, right? It's a great place to be.
No doubt about it. It's nothing better.
All right. Jay Artigues, thanks so much for the time.
Thanks a bunch. Thanks.
All right. Jay's up here in Omaha doing a great job with the College World Series. Back to you.